Most plants sitting in garden centers right now will be dead in your containers by August. Not because you did anything wrong, but because nobody told you which ones actually survive. These 17 perennials come back every year, handle drought, and shrug off genuine neglect. The one at number 12 actually looks better the less you touch it, so stick around for that. Before we start, drop your US state in the comments, since your zone changes what performs best. We'll be calling out specific zones throughout this whole video, so find yours and pay attention. Plant number 1 is sedum, and each leaf stores water inside its own tissue like a built-in tank. It doesn't depend on you remembering to water it, it genuinely depends on itself instead. Established sedum has survived 6 to 8 weeks of zero watering and bounced back undamaged. Planted in rich, heavily fertilized soil, and it grows tall, floppy, and honestly unattractive. Planted in lean, slightly poor soil, and it stays compact, colorful, and properly structured. Stop fertilizing it completely, since the plant rewards neglect with better form every season. Autumn fire produces deep, copper-pink clusters from September through November without flopping. Dragon's blood grows low with vivid red foliage that intensifies as fall temperatures drop. Matrona is tall and architectural, with burgundy stems and dusty pink blooms that look designed. In zones 3 through 9, sedum handles hard freezes as a cold, hardy perennial with no protection. In zones 9 and 10, give it afternoon shade during peak summer heat for reliable performance. Water deeply once at planting, then cut back to once every 2 to 3 weeks through summer. When temperatures drop in fall, stop watering entirely, and the fall color becomes the best you'll see. It's genuinely one of the most forgiving plants you can put in any container all year round. Plant number 2 is lavender, which evolved on rocky Mediterranean hillsides with almost no nutrition. Moisture-retaining potting soil is genuinely lavender's primary killer in most container gardens. The fix is mixing standard potting soil with a third coarse perlite or horticultural grit before planting. Use containers with at least 3 drainage holes and never place saucers underneath them. That single change alone makes lavender nearly bulletproof once it's growing in a container. Hidcote is deep purple, compact, and the most cold, hardy English variety, surviving down to zone 5. In the South or Gulf Coast, Phenomenal handles heat and humidity better than any other variety. For fragrance, Grosso has a higher oil concentration and blooms continuously from June through August. Never fertilize lavender in containers, not even once during the entire growing season. Rich nutrients produce soft, weak growth, with genuinely diminished fragrance in the flowers. The essential oil concentration actually increases when the plant is kept slightly hungry. Neglect isn't just acceptable with lavender, it's genuinely the correct technique to use. Move it right where you sit outside, and brushing the foliage releases the oils immediately. You get a fragrant, mosquito-repelling personal space for the cost of a plant and a 5-gallon pot. Plant number 3 is Russian sage, which blooms continuously from July through October once established. That's 4 straight months of blue-purple flowers on silver-white stems in your containers. Most flowering perennials give 4 to 6 weeks of color. Russian sage gives 4 full months. No real pest pressure either, since deer avoid it and the aromatic foliage naturally repels insects. Even after blooming ends, the silver stem structure provides genuine winter interest all on its own. In zones 4 through 9, it requires exactly 1 maintenance task, cutting back to 6 inches yearly. In zone 4 specifically, move the container against a protected south-facing wall before hard freeze. In zones 8 and 9, it may stay semi-evergreen, giving year-round container interest. It actually looks better in a container than in the ground, since contained roots encourage compact growth. You're not compromising this plant by potting it, you're genuinely improving how it grows. Plant number 4 is hens and chicks, the only plant that actively multiplies without being asked. The mother rosette, called the hen, continuously produces smaller rosettes called chicks around its edge. Each chick is a fully independent plant you can separate with your fingers and replant elsewhere. The mother hen blooms once after several years, then dies. But by then, she's made plenty of chicks. Cobweb hens and chicks is covered in fine white threads that look exactly like delicate spider webs. Red beauty transitions from green to deep burgundy as fall temperatures drop through the season. Pacific blue ice produces blue-gray rosettes that genuinely look almost artificial up close. In zones 3 through 8, They handle hard freezes without protection, having evolved in alpine terrain. They thrive in containers as shallow as 4 inches, ideal for windowsills and small balconies. A hen in a cramped, poorly draining pot puts all her energy into survival instead of reproduction. A hen in a well-draining container with room to spread puts her energy into making more chicks instead. Container size and drainage genuinely determine whether you get dozens of chicks or almost none. Plant number 5 is catmint Walker's Low, blooming for 6 months straight in most American containers. From May through October, it produces continuous clouds of blue-purple flowers on arching stems. Butterflies are strongly attracted, giving you visible wildlife activity around containers all summer. The foliage releases an herbal scent when brushed that most biting insects find deeply unpleasant. When the first flush looks tired in July, cut the whole plant back by half to trigger a second bloom. It looks a bit severe for about 10 days, then returns with a flush often heavier than the first. Most gardeners skip that cut and lose 6 to 8 weeks of color without realizing why. In zones 3 through 8, it's fully cold hardy, needing water only once weekly once established. In zones 8 and 9, afternoon shade prevents burning while it performs reliably all season. Compared to petunias, catmint needs 1 trim per season instead of constant deadheading and fertilizing. It comes back stronger every single spring for years, unlike annuals you have to replace yearly. Plant number 6 is Hosta Sum and Substance, which is actually more beautiful in pots than in the ground. Containers eliminate slugs, the primary destroyer of hosta foliage in most ground plantings. They also eliminate drainage problems, since hostas rot in poorly draining ground soil but thrive in mix. Sum and Substance produces enormous chartreuse gold leaves up to 18 inches across that glow in shade. Halcyon has powder blue foliage that's naturally slug-resistant and stays clean all season long. Patriot has deep green leaves with crisp white margins that look genuinely hand-painted. In zones 3 through 9, hostas handle hard freezes reliably across a wide climate range. In zones 3 through 5, move containers against a protected wall before hard freeze arrives. In zones 8 and 9, morning sun only, with afternoon shade essential for clean summer foliage. A hosta in a well-managed container never needs replacing, dividing naturally every few years instead. A single $3 plant can eventually fill several containers through free natural division. Plant number 7 is Coral Bells Heuchera, available in burgundy, silver, lime, caramel, and near black. That color is present from the moment it breaks dormancy in spring straight through hard freeze in fall. Palace Purple produces deep burgundy leaves that appear almost black in certain light conditions. Lime Ricky is electric chartreuse, illuminating shady corners the way no other plant quite can. Caramel produces warm amber-orange tones that genuinely shift and change throughout the season. In zones 4 through 9, Heuchera is reliably cold hardy, staying evergreen in zones 7 through 9. Most people place it in deep shade and then wonder why the foliage color eventually fades out. It actually produces its most intense color in bright indirect light or a few hours of morning sun. Move your containers to catch morning light and watch the color intensity change within 2 weeks. That one small adjustment makes more difference than any fertilizer or soil amendment you could add. Plant number 8 is a stilbe, which performs better in containers than in any ground planting you'll see. In the ground, it depends entirely on surrounding soil moisture, struggling badly during dry summers. In a container, you control exactly how much water it gets, producing bigger plumes and longer blooms. Bridal Veil produces pure white plumes that glow in shade with genuinely elegant, eye-catching form. Fanal has deep red flowers rising above dark bronze foliage, a dramatic combination for shade containers. Sprite is compact and shell pink, perfect for smaller pots and one of the most awarded Astilbe varieties. In zones 3 through 8, Astilbe is fully cold hardy, unlike most drought-tolerant plants on this list. Morning sun with afternoon shade is the ideal placement in zones 7 and 8 specifically. After blooming, leave the spent plumes standing through fall since they turn a warm russet brown color. That standing structure gives you genuine container interest well into the month of November. Plant number 9 is Japanese painted fern, which stops people mid-step to ask what it actually is. The silver and burgundy coloring looks hand-painted on every frond, despite being entirely natural. Burgundy lace has more pronounced purple tones, the most dramatic of all the painted fern options. Ghost is nearly pure silver, almost luminous in deep shade, and visually striking at any price point. The classic Pictum has silver-gray fronds with a burgundy midrib, remaining a top performer for decades. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, it dies back completely in winter and returns reliably in spring. Don't cut back old fronds in fall, since they insulate the crown naturally through hard freezes. Remove them in early spring once fresh growth emerges from the base, protecting the plant properly. The care is identical to any standard green fern, but the visual result is genuinely in another league. Plant number 10 is Bergenia Winterglow, proving container gardening doesn't stop when summer ends. In spring, it produces pink flower clusters before most other perennials have even broken dormancy. Through summer, thick, glossy leaves give bold container structure that holds up through the season. In fall, those leaves transition to deep burgundy red as temperatures gradually start dropping. Through winter, evergreen foliage holds color while every other container nearby looks empty. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, tolerating deep shade, drought, and temperatures well below zero. In zones 3 and 4, the winter color display becomes genuinely most dramatic against snow or frost. It flowers before you've even thought about opening any other container for the new season. Plant number 11 is Black-Eyed Susan, Rudbeckia, blooming from July through October each year. It attracts goldfinches directly to your containers and gets more floriferous with every passing year. One mature plant produces between 80 and 120 simultaneous blooms at peak flowering. Goldsturm is the benchmark variety, award-winning and reliable, blooming continuously through September. Prairie Sun has yellow petals with green centers instead of dark, giving it a fresher, modern look. Cherry Brandy produces unusual copper-orange tones that set it apart from typical yellow varieties. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, it performs better in its second and third year than as a new planting. Leave the seed heads standing through fall and winter, feeding goldfinches and chickadees actively. Your container essentially becomes a free wildlife feeding station once the plant is established. Plant number 12 is Lamb's Ear Stachys, the plant that gets more beautiful the less you do to it. It originates from rocky, sun-baked hillsides in Turkey and Iran, built to handle real neglect. The dense silver-white hairs on the leaves reflect intense sunlight to prevent overheating in the sun. They also trap a thin layer of dry air against the leaf surface to slow down moisture loss significantly. Overwater it, and those hairs flatten and trap moisture instead, causing the plant to rot from outside in. Underwater it, and the hairs stay upright and silver, making the plant look more striking each week. Big Ears produces leaves up to 6 inches long, the most dramatic variety for container display. Helen von Stein rarely flowers, sending all its energy directly into producing that silver foliage. Silky Fleece is smaller and more compact, ideal for mixed arrangements needing a subtle silver accent. Hardy in zones 4 through 8, with afternoon shade recommended in zones 9 and 10 specifically. It invites touch, and that tactile silver quality makes it one of the most commented on container plants. You achieve all of that visual impact by watering it less than anything else on your patio. Plant number 13 is Daylily, Hemerocallis, where each individual bloom lasts exactly one single day. Each plant produces 30 to 50 buds per stem, giving continuous color across the whole season. It blooms continuously from June through September, while multiplying naturally every 3 to 4 years. Stella d'Oro is the gold standard for containers, compact and reliably reblooming from spring to frost. Happy Returns is pale yellow and slightly more heat-tolerant than most other reblooming varieties. Purple d'Oro delivers that same compact, reliable growth pattern in a rich, deep purple color instead. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, with evergreen varieties in zones 7 through 9 keeping foliage. Dormant varieties in zones 3 through 6 die back completely and return with full vigor each spring. The variety selection is genuinely overwhelming, so drop your favorite color in the comments below. Plant number 14 is Ornamental Grass, Karl Forster, offering movement, sound, and 4-season structure. Spring brings fresh green vertical growth. Summer develops feathery, wheat-colored plumes above it. Fall transitions to warm gold, while seed heads actively feed birds throughout the cooling season. Winter provides standing structure, the only container plant that looks intentional in deep January. Karl Forster stands narrow and upright at 4 to 5 feet, the most architectural grass available. Blue fescue forms compact blue-gray mounds at 10 to 12 inches, perfect for smaller containers. Carl Fearster is hardy in zones 4 through 9 and blue fescue in zones 4 through 8. Cut ornamental grasses back to 4 to 6 inches in late February, the entire yearly maintenance task. One task, about 5 minutes, and it returns taller and fuller than it was the season before. Plant number 15 is coneflower, Echinacea, a native plant with medicinal history going back centuries. It blooms for 4 months, feeds birds through winter with its seeds, and is virtually indestructible. Magnus purple is the classic, with larger flower heads and an incredibly reliable upright habit. White swan is pure white with orange centers, slightly more shade tolerant than the purple varieties. Hot papaya produces double orange-red flowers, the most dramatic modern variety currently available. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, it self-seeds into surrounding containers, giving you free new plants. In zones 4 and 5, place containers against a protected south-facing wall during the coldest weeks. Coneflower genuinely does more for wildlife than almost any other single plant on this list. Plant number 16 is hellebore from the Ice and Roses series, blooming from December through April. That's the longest single bloom period of any perennial available to most American gardeners today. Flowers come in white, pink, burgundy, yellow, and near black, with evergreen foliage year-round. Ice and Roses. Red produces deep burgundy flowers, blooming from December straight through March. Wedding Party has pure white double flowers, blooming from January all the way through April. Penny's Pink delivers soft pink with darker veining, one of the most elegant varieties available. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, giving you genuine flowers during months most containers sit empty. Most gardeners spend winter looking at empty pots. Hellebore gardeners spend it looking at flowers. That difference in reward costs exactly the same amount of effort, either way you look at it. Plant number 17 is Evergreen Sedum Autumn Fire, the final plant that makes containers look intentional. In spring, tight rosettes of fresh blue-green emerge clean and genuinely sculptural in appearance. By fall, flower heads transition from pink to deep copper red, the peak ornamental moment of the year. In winter, dried seed heads and sturdy stems hold structure through frost and snow beautifully. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, completely drought-tolerant and never needing to be divided. Both hellebore and autumn fire get more attractive by being almost entirely ignored from fall through spring. You can plant all 17 of these and still struggle without knowing 3 specific container secrets. These are the mistakes that kill more container plants than drought, cold, and neglect combined. Knowing these 3 secrets is genuinely what separates a thriving container garden from a struggling one. Secret number 1 is that drainage kills more plants than drought ever actually does in containers. The real killer is overwatering combined with poor drainage, since roots sitting in wet soil suffocate. Every container needs at least 3 half-inch drainage holes at the base to let water escape properly. Add a 2-inch layer of coarse gravel before adding soil, and never place saucers underneath. Water should drain visibly within 15 to 20 seconds, or your mix is simply too dense. Secret number 2 is that container size genuinely determines almost everything about a plant's survival. A perennial in a 10-inch container needs water every 1 to 2 days during peak summer heat. The same plant in a 16-inch container only needs water every 3 to 4 days instead. Minimum size for every plant on this list is 16 inches in diameter. Nothing smaller really works. In winter, small containers freeze solid, while larger ones have thermal mass that protects the roots. Secret number 3 is the soil mix that genuinely does half the maintenance work for you. Never use standard garden soil, since it's too heavy with genuinely poor drainage in containers. The correct recipe is 50% quality potting mix, 30% perlite, 20% compost. Each spring, remove the top 2 inches and replace with fresh compost and slow-release fertilizer. That's 10 minutes per container. Once a year, the complete annual soil maintenance for this whole list. If you've spent too many summers replacing plants that were never going to survive, this list changes that. Subscribe for more content built specifically to make your garden easier and more rewarding every week. Tell us in the comments which 3 plants from this list you're adding to your containers this season. And let us know your zone too, since it genuinely shapes which advice actually fits your climate best. Now go fill those containers with something that's actually going to survive the whole season through.